That's pretty slow. All right. Well, okay. So, what we have been up to here. Oh boy, that's slow. Slow as that. Hopefully that's not too bad. Hella quiet. Unfortunately, I can't share my screen because I moved over to a Mac. And it's an old Mac. It doesn't quite have the processing power that it should. But I do have the stream going with like delayed video if you're interested in seeing my screen. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we can run this code, I believe, and this should work. Boom. I fixed it so that we're actually parsing things correctly and we're passing things through. What I wanted to figure out voice chat's not working? I see that you're unmuted, Quiet. Yeah, listen to my voice. All right. So I'm pretty happy with the progress so far. At this point, I can get so this is code that's running. This code maps to custom A. So this is an HTTP endpoint that's being called. It's just doing this like filler API call. And then when that gets resolved, that will pass its output to custom A, which is this. It just prints some stuff out, and we can add some code here that says whatever value is, we'll print that out. So if we go ahead and run this code, we're going to hit our HTTP endpoint. That result's going to go into custom A, which is a function. And then that custom A is a stream of data. We don't show it in the UI yet, but it's a stream of data that we achieve through JavaScript generator. And each one of these values will be streamed back to whatever block is a child of it. So I'll give this a run. We should see in the console here. No. Called custom A. Oh, because value isn't actually being set here. There's actually some other. So this is really data. Because I don't think value is actually being set. Oh my goodness. That is slow. There you go. Okay, so we're listening, run it again. Oh, that data's not getting passed into it. Well, at least this is working. Custom B is grabbing value. That wasn't working before. That was just a string. So it's lovely that that was working. So what we are currently working on is getting the streaming actually working, because right now it's just reading the output. So this is reading the entirety of the stream and then moving on to the next call in the workflow. So we execute, we get the result. That result should be a stream. There is logic here that checks if it's a stream and passes it along. But before that actually happens properly, this stream needs to be passed along. So I could do something where I just say, this is the naive thing, where we just pass along the stream and then we don't say that. But then we kind of have a problem here because we don't know if data is singular or a stream. And so it kind of becomes a dilemma. So what I've been trying to think through is who should make the determination of if the output of this execute gRPC node, which is one of these guys, who makes the determination that okay, I'm not going to have this rebuild. Who makes the determination that this function is streaming its response, or is it just calling once, just being called once? Ideally, we do this at like compile time, but there's not an idea of that. And so for the sake of time and actually just seeing something work, what I was going to do is I think I was going to break up this function, execute curl, which collects all of this metadata about the function, it's a method it's about to execute, the gRPC method, and then it actually performs the call. Invoke with stream, invoke, and then this logic is the part that I'm interested in, because if we see that this has to do with streaming, and there's like a difference in gRPC between server streaming and client streaming, and I forget what it is. I think I've done this. Okay. What is the difference between server, stream, and client in gRPC? Server stream is a service where the client sends one request and the server sends multiple. So that's currently what's happening. This thing's making one request to custom A, and then custom A has multiple responses. On the other hand, client stream is when a service is a service where the client sends multiple requests. So in this case, custom A returns multiple, custom B could be accepting multiple. So then we would call that so that we're saying that's a client stream. Client stream is when it accepts multiple their inputs. Now, of course, it can be both. There's no limit to one over the other. So you could have basically a flow of data in and out. So there's four scenarios as enumerated in the switch. It could be both. It could be a server stream, could be a client stream, could just be a server stream, just be a client stream, and then unary is when there is just one input, one output. So we need to support all of these. And so I think right now what I'm trying to support is server stream, where there's one request and then it sends multiple responses. So to get that working, ideally I just need this. So we just return the stream, but then again, we've ignored the unary case where there's just one input, one output. So maybe just a good place to start is breaking this out. So I'm going to take all of this. And so IntelliJ has this really cool feature, which I love, where you can just highlight all this code. Oh no. I get this weird thing. So I just highlight all of this, and then I say right click, refactor, extract method. And then it extracts it as a method. It's not always perfect, and it has like these extraneous return statements because it just contextually can't determine what you need. But it does like a pretty decent job. So I want to call this So I'm really just interested in the method descriptor. I feel like this should just be like a struct, actually. I think I just want to like invoke options. I just want to call this like gRPC invoker. Or actually, this is the pattern I've been using. I just say gRPC invoke, and then invoker is the interface. And then that has invoke. Sure, that's whatever for now. So gRPC invoke, and then I'm going to say function new gRPC invoker, gRPC invoke. And then really all these should be broken out into options. And actually, let's just say screw the new function for now. What we'll do is, first off, turn this into a method. Just calling this f. So we can get rid of that. Don't need that anymore. Do need the comma though. Comma's important. And that becomes f dot that. Cool. Now I want we'll actually make the new function, and then we'll just have, we'll pass that in, and so we'll just return it, but we'll add the setup in there. And then we'll just, I don't know, we'll just bullshit here. We'll say f gRPC invoke init. Excellent. I love init. It's my favorite. Error. Error. I'll just leave it to do. You should be passing options. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Now that method descriptor should go somewhere. We'll cheat here. Not the best. We'll take it. And then I don't like this container everywhere. I kind of want to kill it. Oh wait, oh there, we already have an invoker. Shit. Well, that's awkward. Oops. Doesn't matter that much. What I've learned is like as long as the names make sense in your head for the first draft, that's usually pretty okay. Res? The hell's res? Oh, res. Resolver. Oh, that's a little annoying. What is the res used for? What is res used for? Oh, when it goes to unmarshal. Oh, that's a little trickier than I thought. This is why this belongs in the build step, is that we could reflect the gRPC server to know what types of the function that we're dealing with, so we know ahead of time what we're getting ourselves into in terms of the streaming. But I really just need this, and I need that ideally before I call anything. So do we just BS here? Okay. So inside of here we have container, and then we'll say g.container is that. We're not doing a colon assign, just assigning it. And this becomes, we're calling this F. I want this to be G. 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 Proto reflects method descriptor. These need to go resolver, proto encoding, close resolver. resolver, g dot close resolver. Okay. Call this guy G. Ew. Massive hack. Massive hack here. It's just not clean. Not clean. Not clean. Not clean. What type's this? We need to stick that in there. Connect.http client. Hello, chat. Client options. GD Brett Chris, spend more than 2 brain cells organizing this code. Can I just like merge this? Why is this invoker its own thing? That's kind of like, it's kind of its own thing. What does curl stand for? Client for URLs. I think this is probably going to become like a gRPC manager or something like that that can like dispatch and grab types, so that when we do like the build step, it like knows what to grab or something. Request headers. Oh, let's reflect headers. Should be that header. Oops. Oh God, this is brutal. Not fun. Not fun code. Okay, well, there's no more errors. Now, okay. So, ew. Ew. We don't need that. Okay. 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 Let's now we know invoker dot. Where is it? Oh. Yeah, invoker dot. Cool. Wait, this is like a gRPC method. We're not even using that right now. Maybe a remote method. New remote method. Well, this is what I really like here, because of the refactoring tools, it becomes really easy to have an idea or just come up with a idea of names, and then you can just like rapidly change it. Now everything should be over here. And just change that guy. Yeah, now method.execute, like that seems pretty clean to me. At least for now. I really like this errors.wrap pattern. I used to have like log statements everywhere, where I do like log.error, error, error, and then like toss a message. And then you would also return like the error. And it was just, it never felt right. But what I really like here is that every time you wrap this, you can add this message, and then this message also can be a format string, so you can add like whatever additional context that you need. And by wrapping the error, you get this stack trace. So when there's an error that happens and you're like, why the fuck did my code just crash? You can see all of the different places that your code has, or the unraveled error. And it can be kind of verbose. So there's still some playing around that I want to do, but I at least am happy that there's like the stack trace, which I don't believe that I was having before, or what I had before. And so that's why I had like all of those error messages, and so you'd see them bubbling up. But the problem that I was running into is that you would be loading in just too much context. Like you would see just way too much data, versus now like my workflow when I hit an error is I can see where the error is in the stack trace, set a breakpoint, run it again, and then just like get to that point in the code and inspect the context that way, as well as attaching like any like, you know, relevant context. Like up here, I'm adding the host, and all of these are just like AI generated at this point. So I'm not even really thinking about it. So super nice. It feels really good to have that pattern. So now that I have that method, now I want to see I more or less just want to kind of copy this logic. I also want to get rid of that. Okay, this really feels like it's just all should belong on the invoker. Like, what is the point of this curl? It seems to me like this should all just be merged. Who knows? I don't know. Okay. Well, we have the execute. we have that method thing. I wanted the logic. That switch logic, this guy. So when we are running this code, we can switch what we are doing depending on what we have. And just say so it's bidirectional server stream client stream unary. And server stream means, ooh, what does it mean? One request, multiple responses. Client stream means multiple requests, one response. What's my typing speed? All right, what's 10 fast fingers? Actually, what's the online test? Let's see, I think I usually do like 90. I don't understand why all these typing tests have like, it's just so slow. Like what is like there's so many ads or like what is going on? I just came for a typing test. I didn't want. Oh my god. Typing.com. Oop. Oh. Oh, what do we got? 60 words per minute. Yikes. Yikes. Type Racer? I have too many things running on my computer right now. Oh, I can't enter an erase. Oh, there you go. I don't fucking want loot. Just give me my test. Oh my god. Oh. Oh. Wait, what is this? When I grow up, I'm not going to read the newspaper and I'm not going to follow complex issues and I'm not going to vote. What? Where did they get this text? What, what am I typing? Is this some like conspiracy shit? Is Typeracer actually trying to like brainwash me? I'm not typing that. I'm not typing that commie bullshit. Yeah, I love my keyboard's so nice. Look at that split keyboard with Japanese keycaps that are definitely not right. Not in the right place. Just your run-of-the-mill white computer nerd with random Japanese artifacts around my room. All right, back to business. Serious business here. Streaming. Multiple requests, one response, unary. Is streaming server, is streaming client. So I want to read. So either way, we are executing this code. It really just comes down to what okay. So I think we could just do this and then say like fall through. That's not true. It's more like for the response here. So if there are multiple responses versus if there's only one response, we change. So if there are multiple responses, we want to stream. I guess we're just forwarding along the stream. So we're mainly just interesting, is this a streaming client or single? So nothing happens on those. But for these two guys, we'll just run this code. It's not, this isn't perfect by any means, but that's okay. And we'll say data is no. All right, I guess it's nil anyway. Wow. What code? I'm so happy with this code. But I think that will do something. I think that does it. Because now we'll just, in these cases, nothing will happen, no code will run. Otherwise, we're going to try to consume the whole stream. So if nothing happens, then we go to our workflow. And inside of our workflow, we're going to execute it. We have a result. If that stream exists, then we build our input with the stream, and then we forward it along. Wow. Never nester. Never nesting. I'm just gonna have AI rewrite all my code. Gotta use that Luna pipe. Luna pipe. Luna pipe, rewrite my code. I'm sorry, I'm an AI and I can't do that. As an AI language model, I need you to provide my code. Thank you. All right, please run. Can I close any shit that's running? Oh boy, that's slow. Okay. Run it. Do we get an error? Oh. Error reading output stream. Method custom B is a unary RPC. Why did it not work? You got me. $120. Reading output stream. Right. So, yes, I remember this. I remember this. So we need this switch logic, but when we go to invoke this, so if we have a stream, there's a case where we only have one request. So if there is only one request, Okay, so if there are multiple requests allowed, then we're going to stream the input. Otherwise, if there's only one request, which is the case for a streaming server or a unary call, this is kind of a little undefined behavior. But I think what we will do for now we will join all inputs into one input. For a unary, for a single request call. And then, oof. I think this needs to go in its own function. We'll defer closing the input stream, letting everyone know that we're done. Sending input. And so if there's a single one, we're going to join. So all of our data is going to be var data. It's an array of any data, any type. And then we're going to append our data. And then, so we got a problem if our stream that we're reading from has anything that is an error. How do we report an error? It's an excellent question. I think probably what you say is like output stream dot error. I actually thought about this in my head of it being a little strange what to do, because I think theoretically if you have a bunch of streaming calls, that error, if you have like a whole chain, is going to be reported on the child of whoever's like actually going to handle it, I think. Or maybe it bubbles up. I don't know. It's hard to conceptualize what that's going to actually do, but I think that's okay. We'll at least catch it in the logs. So we have all of our data, and now we need to shove this into one call. Input stream.push data. Is this kosher? Feels like undefined behavior to me. Wow, such code. Beautiful code. Let's see what we got here. Does it actually run? I give it pretty good odds. I think we got good odds. Yeah, there we go. But No output. I love the mystery errors. So it definitely ran. Something happened. So say that's bottom right. We'll say this is top right. Okay, so something's hanging. Question is what? Let's see. We're executing node service. And then presumably, since we got the previous error where we didn't have this code, now that we've added it, it must have gotten unblocked. So maybe we'll stick a debug message in here. Log.debug. Streaming multiple requests, one response. And then host, we'll toss in host in here. And then we'll also throw that debug over here. Sending one request. Oh, actually, we don't. It's just streaming multiple requests, sending one request. What do we got? Sending one request to our server down here. We don't get a response. Oh, is that because oh, it's trying to read everything, but we don't actually. Does that mean the server's still open? So when we're reading the output, oh, wait a second. Right, I don't want this actually. I don't want this actually. Yeah, what I actually want to do, actually want to execute this for every time we receive an output. I think. How do you do that, though, is the question. How do you do that? So essentially what I want is to execute this method multiple times based on the stream. So I think I just want to say, if that's a stream, I don't think this thing should be handling this. I think we want to go in here, invoke with stream. Where is that stream used? Yeah, I think really what I want here is I think that's what I want. Let's see if that's what we want. Come on, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Did it terminate? I should have like a terminate thing in here. I'll just toss some it called that 4 times, so that definitely worked. It just might be the UI is not reflecting. Why is this? Come on. Project service. So, oh, I see. Okay, so we do finish the workflow. Sick. Start it, finish it, call the functions. That's sick. Now what if we like, all right, here's the real test. Well, true. And then we'll say, in loop. So now we're just always looping. So it should never finish. Oh, we probably want to wait. Delay by a second. So it should run every second in a loop based off the input of rest. Maybe. Or I guess we still have a problem with that. That's not actually working. It's okay though. I mean, that's it. We're in A. And then we're calling we can maybe verify this by like having increment here. Var I is equal to 0. And then we'll say called custom B. And then whatever value is. And value is I. I need to collect like data of like stuff that's coming in and out. Oh, we are not incrementing the loop. Sure. Run 1, 2, 3. Sick. So this is like, that's so neat. So we run this code. We're not really doing anything with it right now, but it's just interesting. So it's doing the HTTP request. That calls custom A. Custom A is a generator and is dynamically serving content that custom B is reading. And then, oh, this is actually a unary call. This is just a unary call, so it's just being called with whatever custom A is producing. Whoa. Interesting. So theoretically, you could stream. I kind of want to benchmark this, see how fast this is right now. But you could stream data if you were recording. So this is all a setup so that I can have a Discord bot where you click run workflow. You have a Discord bot node. So like function Discord or Discord messages. And then Discord messages can be fed into process message. So once you build this block, you just need to build it once. And now anyone, assuming there's proper types and everything, anyone can use this block and reuse it to do things with Discord. And it doesn't matter what language it is, as long as it's a language that's supported by Protoflow. And so you can reuse that. And now I think, let's take some notes on this. Logsec's closed. I'll open it up. Logsec. Yes, Electron app. Load slower, please. I need to make like a native thing for this so that I can just like type stuff in. Oh. God, that's so slow. What's even going on? Come on, I just want some notes. All right, so Protoflow work. So okay, things needed to make blocks reusable. So if we want to make blocks reusable, we need types. And types will be protobuf types. And right now we don't see any type information. Everything just defaults to this default proto where it's like data, just string value. So we need to be able to read and write to this file so that if someone comes in and starts changing things around like string, or not string number, and 32 number, if they want to do that, they can. And now that type information should be reflected on here. We should know like what this thing accepts. So that's still an outstanding item. I have some ideas of how to do that. Surface types on UI. And I already have that on these things. So I have this like gRPC builder. So this comes from a proto. So this is like reflecting the Protoflow service, getting the blocks, and then we can configure what the input is via the types here. So I just need to adopt this and kind of like maybe understand it better and apply that to functions. The source of truth for type information is going to need to read from a file, from this proto file. So going to need to write that logic. Types for function blocks come from service or language service proto file. So we need types. Types are essential here, and we also need config at the very least. So this is also it's more or less going to be. Oh wait, I can do this. Oh, I can just tech. Oh, this is one of the reasons why I like using a Mac here. So I can just do double tap. Whoops. Did you just crash logsec? No. Okay. So I can do I'll just talk here. I hate that it pauses the audio. Config is also just Protoflow types. Oh. No. Buff types. I'll just type fuck it. Config is also just protobuf types. And then config is made available to code in the function declaration. How the hell do you spell that word? Declaration. Declaration. Config is made available to code in the function declaration. So like how that would look for writing some JS is like function my block we would have maybe like config is the first thing, and then, or no. We always want the type, and then config maybe is like an optional thing here, or maybe this config, something like that. And then config is like a fully typed config that's like more like stateful. So like config is like stateful data for a function, because once you configure your config, you configure that through here, any data that passes through this block should not be affected, or it is going to be affected by the config, but it's like, right, you configure your config once. None of this global state bullshit. I'm so fucking tired of global state and code. Loaded from, and then we'll say this, loaded from environment. Loaded from environment variable. And then ideally also support loading from file. Now, all of these things are nice to have, and I think that this is like the next thing to get this flow really nailed down. That's what I really want, because then once we have that, now we can add in our AI blocks, and we can do some fucking cool things where we're listening to Discord messages, we maybe like block on like a certain amount that are needed before some AI process works and summarizes, or you have your prompt, whatever. The world's going to be your oyster so soon. It's going to be poetry. Deployment, that's another one to figure out. Also secrets are, that my security engineer in me is like, keep looking at that, and it's like, that's so juicy. Deployment, I'm gonna just shoot for Docker Compose, and I think that I found this library. Where is it? Did I save it? I didn't save it in my notes. What the hell? Can I see my stars? Compose Go. So I found this guy, and then they have types. And then in these types, it's all of the stuff that we know and love with Docker Compose. So I'm just going to dynamically build a Docker Compose based off of the things that are needed to run Protoflow. So 1, the Protoflow service, 2, the language service. And I think we might need one for every language. Question mark on that. Postgres, that's going to be super helpful. And then volumes for file data. Still need to figure out. Need to make file system resource. So something that I've been thinking about, because we have buckets, but I think a bucket is really different than a file system, because when you interact with a bucket in the cloud, it's like over HTTP, but sometimes you want to be able to just use the file system API. You can make a file, and so I think a file system depends on a bucket, maybe is how I want to structure it, but it's like, I feel like interacting with a file system is inherently different. And then I'm putting this on the back burner. I thought that I wanted to do this, but using Tilt, it's just, there's a lot to think about. But that's kind of like my gold standard. That's what I want to shoot for, because I feel like Tilt really has understand like local dev to deployment really well, and I want to push that forward. But I think people are going to be way more familiar with Docker Compose, and Tilt has this whole idea of going from Docker Compose to Kubernetes config. So there's a path. There is definitely a path for graduating from Docker Compose, but I think that's going to be the thing that sells. So, and we're building an AI company, so we got to do the thing that sells, right? So sick. I'm pretty happy with progress. I think we're going to call it. So catch y'all later.